Thank you for watching the Electronic Playground podcast. I have a special guest here with me today, Frank Cropper, and I want to give him a chance to introduce himself.
Thank you. Frank Cropper, Leadership Director, Cultural Alignment Director for Pest Pros Pest Solutions. You know, I always find that funny, though. It's like my job title, right? But I'm also a husband, father, all these types of things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring you in here today because I got a chance to sit down with your wife, and she has some amazing things to say about you and your family life and your career. And I thought, you know what, it'd be really good to get to highlight that because you guys are an inspiration to couples out there that are trying to do things together in life.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about what you guys do together.
Oh man, everything, short answer, right?
Yeah.
You know, you hear people complain about their wives or their husbands, and I always think like, that couldn't be me. You know, my wife's my best friend. And I'm telling you, I was never that person. I would laugh at somebody that said that before, but I didn't realize the blessings in it. You know, we met each other later in life. We've known each other a little over 2 years now. And we both gone through some growth, you know, with each other and before each other, you know. One thing about me, and I told her this as well, is I truly believe in, I think it was Rumi the poet, what you seek is seeking you. And it's nice to know that as you're out there looking for what it is you want in your life, there's somebody out there looking for the same thing. So we kind of share that, you know, we feel that with each other. And again, I know this sounds super sappy, but this is truly what I feel. So we met a couple years ago. You know, when people ask how we met, I always say that she stalked me on social media. She disagrees, and she's probably right, but I like to say that, you know what I mean? But we came together, and it was just really a good thing for both of us, and I kind of learned who she was, and once I found out like what she's truly about, there was no chance I was going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's awesome. I know you said that it sounds sappy, but honestly, to me, it sounds normal. It sounds like that's what it should be.
That's exactly right. And so my thought that I thought that was sappy before was probably what was keeping me from having those blessings in my life. So often it's our perspective, right? Yeah.
You almost like self-sabotage. Like,
absolutely. And we think self-sabotage is purposely messing up our own lives. It's not. It's staying in a safe, comfortable zone and not being afraid to experience new things that's sabotaging us, right?
Someone recently told me that just naturally we are in survival mode.
That's right.
And so when you're in survival mode, you go for those safe things, right? And you're not really reaching for those things that you take a risk on.
Oh, it's so true. So there's this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And you have to be safe, you have to have food, you have to have shelter and all that stuff. So if you're always operating there, you don't get the cultural connection, spiritual connection, social connection. You don't get to move up the pyramid to have what they call self-actualized life. So if you're always focused down here, you'll never have that stuff. And I'll tell you a great way to always stay down here is to always just worry about yourself. That's the way. You know, you have to get out. Once you start caring about other people, oh, it's off to the races.
Worry about yourself is the way.
Well, so let me say that a different way. When you worry about yourself, you'll be stuck. When you worry about other people, that's the way to go.
That's the way.
And maybe worry is not even the right word, right? Maybe just I went from a life of seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, down here on that pyramid, right? Survival mode, like you said, to seeing how I could be most useful and help each other people out as much as I can, you know? And that sounds like a selfless thing. Oh, I'm so great. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I started doing that at a time in my life where I had no other choice, okay? Like living life for me had gotten me to a point that I didn't want to be. And so I was ready to try anything else. So I was like, I'll just try it. Lo and behold, it worked.
And you found the secret.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I'll say that. And when there's another secret to find, maybe I'll find that one too. But right now I'm doing okay.
There's some good secrets out there I feel like they're kind of uncovering as we get older.
Oh, yes.
And you're like, dang, I wish I learned that one a long time ago. So if you guys have a secret, tell us now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Give us an email.
So now for your career, you work with Pest Pros.
That's right.
And I've heard some great things about them.
Oh, good.
What sets you guys apart from other pest control companies?
Yeah. You know, so most companies will tell you, oh, we have our core values, right? And they say like integrity, hard work. Well, we feel if you have to tell somebody you have integrity, you probably don't have integrity, right? So we're really guided by our core principles. It's whatever it takes, love people, commitment to personal growth, intentionality, genuine connection, and giving back, okay?
Oh, wow.
And we only had 5. We added that 6th one recently, intentionality, because we really wanted to get serious and stay serious about what we're doing. I'm gonna tell you a little story. So I was going through some life changes and I was really on this self-development track, and I realized what it was I wanted to do, how I wanted to operate in life. And I had some friends who knew the president of this company. His name's Josh Fleener. And they said, you should just come in and sit down with him. He reads all the time. He's just like you. And I was like, okay, I'll meet with him. But I was so focused on doing my own thing. I sat down and met with him, and he's telling me about his beliefs and what he does. And I'm playing it cool, right? I'm playing it cool. But in my head, I'm thinking, dude, this guy really believes everything I believe. And look, he's made a whole business out of it. I was like, okay, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just really a very fortunate thing. Like I said, what you seek is seeking you. I was looking for that. They were looking for someone like me, and then we were just ready to go.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's really the secret is, look, I've never seen somebody lose working really hard and giving a damn about people. You have those two things, you're gonna win. It might not be in the way you think, but you're gonna win. I'm sure you're seeing a lot of that in what you're trying to do in the community too.
I think that relationships are the secret.
Absolutely.
I think that is the number one above all else, because if you think about stripping our life down to the bare minimum, what's left?
That's right.
Is relationships.
That's right.
So you have to start there. If you don't have it, you're going to wonder why people don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
You're going to wonder that. And the truth is you don't have the relationship with them.
That's exactly
all it is.
right. Yeah, and so I think I'll take it a step, not a step further, but a step down. You got to have the right relationship with yourself to have that with people. You know, so you said strip it all down. If it's not relationships, why the hell are we all here? You know what I mean? Like, if we aren't here to help each other, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. I could not agree with you more.
Have you seen the show Alone?
No, I don't think that I have.
And I don't watch a lot of TV, but it's a reality show where they send people to like a remote place and they're by themselves.
I think I have. And one season there was a bunch of bears trying to get him or something.
Right.
Yes, I have. I think I know where you're going with this.
Every single person, they come to an epiphany of being alone and how hard that really is on you.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like solidifies how important relationships are. And they break down and they cry and they realize like all the people they're missing, and they go home. They leave the game. They thought they were going to win that $1 million, and they go home because family is more important.
So I'm going to tell you that I believe that to the core, because in my times that I was at my lowest, I was the most isolated. Now, it's different. I was on a show. I was doing that to myself. But I totally see that. You know, I read that in one of my books about that show specifically. There was the last two, and one was like a survival expert guy, and he knew everything. And there was one lady who, she was good, okay? But she like decorated her dwelling, and it made her feel more at home, and she won the show because of how she felt. She didn't get as lonely as this other guy.
Right.
So I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
I think I've never thought to put it that way, but that's the secret I'm taking.
Yeah.
Okay?
There you go.
Yeah.
So in the company you work with, you were telling me that you feel at home with this company.
Yeah.
There's a lot of perks to it, and it's a lot of it goes back to the relationship and how you feel about who you work with.
Yeah. So I mean, where do I start? I mean, we go out of town all the time to watch fights. The president of my company puts on these big sales competitions. We've been to Napa, Tahoe, all kinds of, and I get to take my wife with me, which is amazing because I wouldn't be able to provide these types of things for her if it was just me. But I get to take her. We're having a company party in about a month, the end of March, and I get to take her and show her like, look, this is what all our hard work has paid off to, and all of our service pros do as well. People call them techs. We're their service pros to us. I think the biggest thing for me is that we get to create that for every single person that works at our company. You know, so I was a teacher for a long time actually, and so I do a lot of like career reports. You know, the kids would all tell me what they wanted to do when they grew up. Maybe 10,000 kids did that project. Not a single one picked pest control, okay? No one plans on going into pest control. So we get a lot of guys and girls that come into the industry, and they sort of ended up there. And we get to show them that, first of all, I don't believe you've ever ended up anywhere because it ain't ever over, right? And so we get to show them this is where you are in your life and this is how great it can be. I actually teach classes. It's called Introduction to Leadership for everybody that starts at the company. And we don't believe that you can lead anybody until you can lead yourself. And so we have 3 very specific books we go over. And so in that way, I guess I'm still a teacher, right? But I get to show these people what they can do and what they can be with a little bit of introspection. And we've had people that were, you know, in a different industry, and they're just coming to pest control, and they get to see, you know, what it's like and what kind of life they can provide for their families. And I tell you what, you want to talk about enjoyment in your job, that's when I start to just geek out. Like, I love it. I get to help people become these things that they never thought they could be.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's just
amazing.
I feel so blessed.
That is amazing. It does take a special person to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't come natural for everybody.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, it doesn't come natural. Some of it's not coachable, but I think a lot of it comes through adversity, right? You have to be in a spot in your life where you're down, where you don't see how the cards are going to add up for you. What we call it going up the rough side of the mountain, right? You have to go up that rough side of the mountain to really get that character. And once you've been up it, the beauty about it is you get to show other people how to go up that rough side of the mountain.
Right.
Yeah, so we really embrace that. We embrace getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, with challenging ourselves, with hard conversations. And really, like, it's really paid off. Sure, we can talk about the numbers. Like, next year we'll be a $10 million company, but we take that money, that opportunity, and we spread it out. We filled up a U-Haul with toys for kids in the area.
My gosh.
Yeah, we've raised, I think, close to $8,000 for women's heart health in a couple weeks. You know, we do this really cool thing that I was hoping to talk to you about. It's called All About Hope, where kids that are in the hospital with some really challenging issues. I have a personal friend whose daughter went in with a brain tumor. So we put together these boxes that has art supplies and journaling ideas, and the kids get to have that just for them. And you think about, they're at a spot in their life where they don't really understand what's going on, you know, and the parents are desperate, and we get to provide a little bit of hope for them. You know, I always say when people are going through something, leave a little bit of space for hope. And we try to do that. And
absolutely. Is this for children that are in the hospital?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There's certain hospitals we service. We work with a local church, and they're just really great about it. You know, they're really great, and we're trying to expand. You know, so shameless plug, All About Hope. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I think that we should definitely plug that, not shamelessly.
Yeah.
You know, I have a personal experience. I had lost my stepson to cancer.
I'm sorry.
At the age of 9. And so exactly what you're doing is what people need, because these kids they're stuck in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
And like for my stepson Sawyer, he was there 39 days straight. They run out of things to do. They are bored out of their mind. Yeah. There's only so much, you know. They're not getting to go to school. They're not getting to play outside with their friends.
The friends, seeing that. We talked about isolation, how connection is the superpower. You know, absolutely. I feel like, and I'm not a scientist, and I never will pretend to be one, but we don't understand all of the ways that connection physiologically helps us.
Right.
And so the more we can keep that going in our brains, the better chance we have to fight this thing, which is just a monumental task in its own. So I'm sorry to hear that, but it does give you some introspection into what people are handling and going through. I always say I can't imagine. You can. You know how it goes.
Absolutely, and it goes back to what you were saying. You know, it's like we are almost better for some of the things we've gone through.
Absolutely.
The empathy, it comes out.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you look at a situation and you might not even trying to, or like not thinking about it, you might kind of slightly judge it.
Yeah.
Like, why are they handling it this way?
Without even knowing.
Why didn't they do this treatment that was on the table and they did this one? Because maybe you shared a little bit about your medical life online or whatever. They don't know everything that's going on.
That's right.
But hope is what's the most important. And so in having resources for people, something to look forward to, it does something. It definitely makes a difference for not just the child, but the family. Because the family, they're desperate. What can help my son? What can help my daughter? And when you come in with a little help, that's something that helps my son or my daughter. That's that little bit that just gives them the hope they need.
Absolutely. And you know what? I challenge anybody listening to this. So it's $25 per box. Find me a way you can spend $25 that will make you feel better and happier and do more good than that. You know,
absolutely.
Providing hope. Come on, man.
Yeah. Hope for $25?
Yeah, exactly. That's a hell of a deal.
10 of them. So I'll buy those in bulk.
There you go. Yeah.
So I love that. I love that you're doing that. What brought you to that specifically?
Yeah. Okay. So that specific organization, like I told you, the president of the company and I are really good friends. He's like a mentor, but more like a best friend. His daughter dealt with a hospital scare when she was very young, and it actually was the impetus for him starting this company. This company was born out of wanting to help somebody, to help people, and her name's Dixie, and he tells the story way better than I do. But he's in the hospital, and he was finally getting to hold his daughter again, and his other job was just calling him. Didn't care about him, calling him. And he put the phone down, he picked her up, and he said, listen, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it for you. And it just expanded, because it's no longer about her. It's about all the other kids and people we can help, and all the families we help. Somebody who has a job at our company, they feed their family, they buy toys for their kids, they they get to really enhance their family's life because of what they're doing with us. And remember, what they're doing with us is helping other people. So it's like a cyclical journey.
Right.
You know, it's something, obviously I could talk at length about. I'm just very proud of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you should be.
Yeah.
What are some things that you've done along your life's journey to keep your mental health really sharp? Because I mean, just in talking to you, I can tell you're a leader, you're into fitness, you're talking about these organizations and your company in such positive ways. That takes something. So what is it?
Oh gosh, what's the secret?
Yes,
right?
What's the secret?
Well, I'm going to tell you the first secret is it's who you surround yourself with. You know, like what do they say? When you think you're depressed, just make sure you're not surrounded by a bunch of dummies first. Okay, or maybe you are the dummy. I don't know. But so my wife is amazing. Like we've already talked about that at length. But I'll give you a quick story about her, and then I promise I'll talk about something else. But her and I had been together about a year, and so I have my son on weekends only, and Halloween wasn't going to fall on a weekend; it was a weekday. So I was pretty down about not being able to take him trick or treating. She runs a hotel, as you know, and she said, "Don't worry about it." She said, "I'll just have one of my employees behind every hotel room door, and he can go knock on the doors." And you know, it's a little emotional for me, but just that kind of person is who I get to go home to every day, and I'm so grateful for that. And then when I have to leave that person, I get to go to work and work with all my best friends. So it's amazing. It's really a good situation. And I spend all my times either spent with my family or my friends at work. That's it. And even when I go to the gym, my wife and I go to the gym every single morning, you know, and it's been a mission of my life to stay physically fit because I want to be healthy into my older years. And it was something new to her when we met, but she took to it like a fish in water. Yeah. You know, so we go on a date every day at the gym. Yeah. You know, it's really cool to like push our comfort zones with each other and help each other level up, you know?
All right, so I'm gonna challenge you.
Yeah, sure.
That when you're 80 years old, that you go to a trampoline park.
Trampoline park at 80.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll put it in my calendar. I think I can go 80 years in the future and I'll do it. I don't know how it'll go, but I'll go, okay? I will, I'll make that.
Well, I mean, with the right fitness journey, you should be able to do it. My grandpa was 90 years old riding his bike. You know what I mean?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I would probably argue that he was riding it way before 90 and he took it all that way.
All the way, from like 30s on.
Cycling is one of the most amazing things you can do for muscle use, VO2 max, just any anything to do with your heart. That's amazing for him that he has that. And that's it's not easy, right? But who wants easy?
Yeah. I mean, I'd love it if it came with all the same benefits as the hard stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess it's like you take the easy stuff, you get the benefets of the easy stuff. You take the hard stuff, you get the benefits of the hard stuff, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of a saying, it's nothing's easy, but who wants nothing?
There you go. That's a good one. Roslyn had mentioned you guys are actually considering at some point maybe starting either a podcast or coaching, or are you guys already doing some of that?
Yeah, so we do informally now. You know, with everything I do at work, I put a lot of that into the leadership program we have at work, and she has a lot of people that just naturally gravitate towards her. If we could find a way to make that the lion's share of our life's mission, we might make that switch. I think it's, and I'm going to butcher this name, but it's ikigai, right? It's the Japanese term where it's like a Venn diagram. You know, a normal Venn diagram has 2 circles, but this one has 4. And it's like what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can make money doing. Where all 4 of those meet, that's your purpose. That's what you should be doing.
Gotcha.
You know, so maybe it's there. But the problem we have is we just love interacting with the people we interact so much with at our work now that it'd have to have something to do with that as well.
Right.
I'll tell you what, like I said, if you work hard and you do it for the right reasons, you can't lose. And I know if I'm doing it with her, we're gonna be okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about your family life with your kids.
Oh, goodness.
You mentioned you guys have a blended family.
We do, yeah. So, I have a 4-year-old now. I call him my Baba. I never thought I'd have a nickname for my kid, but his name's Chase, but I call him Baba. And
you probably have like a voice you use with him.
Oh yes, yeah. It's always funny because I'm this, people see me as this big tough guy, and I'm like, oh, my Baba, and they're like, what? But so that's my baby that I brought to the relationship. And she has 3 kids. She has Braden, Belle, and Weston. And when I met her, Braden was just about to turn 13.
Okay.
And that can be tricky. Now, what people probably don't know about me right now is I taught 8th grade for like 20 years. So it was in my wheelhouse. But I got to tell you, I got lucky with this kid. I say my wife's my best friend, but I might be lying because Braden might be my best friend in the whole world. He's such an amazing kid. Like,
I love that.
And just the way I've been able to work with him, he gets straight A's now. He's a star on his basketball team. He's reading books that I read. I got Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and he's just loving it. Yeah,
You're giving me goosebumps.
Oh, man, it's such a good situation that I found myself in that I sometimes you feel undeserving. You know, but you just roll with the punches, and God gave you these things for a reason. You know what I mean? So I work with that. So Weston's a little wild child. He's like, if you ever seen the show The Wild Thornberrys, he's like one of those little wild kids. And Belle's this princess, you know, Miss Pris, and she has all this stuff on her wall.
Yeah.
She wants to go to the Hillary Duff concert. Or is it Haley Duff? I think it's Hillary Duff.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, like, people say, oh man, you're such a super dad. I'm all right. Like, I'm a decent dad, but Roslyn's like super mom. So they're like, how do you do it with 4 kids? I say, I don't know, ask my wife. You know, I do everything I can, but I mean, she works a full-time job, high-powered job. She does all the dishes. She takes care of me. She takes care of all the kids. I'm in a really good situation.
Yeah.
And it takes that teamwork, because sometimes she'll get frustrated, right? And that when she gets frustrated, that's my cue that I'm probably not doing enough, because I need to help more when she gets frustrated. So that's when, you know, I'll pop out of the room, hey, let me take over. You know, and just being, because she's a woman, and Braden is a young man. And so me being able to connect with him on that level. And going back to the company thing, so we love the Kings at my company, the Sacramento Kings. We're a small business partner with them. I went to 1 Kings game when I was 16 years old, because the Kings might as well have played on Mars. We didn't grow up with any kind of money.
Right.
Braden has been to more Kings games than you could ever imagine, because we have season tickets. And the president knows Braden very well, the president of our company. And so anytime there's no tickets being used, he sends them to Braden, and we go.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's cool. I love that. But the really cool part is how grateful he is, how thankful Braden is. It's amazing. You know, because I've been working with him a lot of time on gratitude, joy, helping other people. The only thing that backfires on that, though, is some days I'll just want to have a tough day. And I'll be in the car, and I'll be like, this guy, and Braden will be like, Frank, he's probably going through a lot of things. And I'm like, Braden, don't you dare use that on me. You know, but he's brought it back. And I'm just, it's a really good situation to be in with him. And he's such a good mentor for my baby and everything.
I love that.
I find joy in it, you know, I really do.
Tell me about Chase Purpose.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's cool. So my goal in life is, you know how people will say sometimes, I want to make people feel happier. Okay, cool. I feel like happiness is a personal thing, though. You have to choose happiness, right? My goal through interacting with people is I want them to feel more capable about themselves for having talked to me or known me, okay? And I went through a lot of my life either chasing happiness or avoiding pain. That limits your life. I feel like when you're on that level, you're ignoring what you're meant to be here doing. Your purpose, right? Whatever it is. And sometimes we create our purpose, sometimes it finds us, who knows? But whatever it is, you better chase it. And I feel like that's when you are self-actualizing. You're operating on the highest level possible. So there's a time in my life where I had to really orient myself, get my rudder right on my ship, you know? And I said, what is that? Well, at the time it was my son. Right? And it always will be, but I had to recognize that. And it just happens that his name's Chase.
Right.
So you know, Chase Purpose. And that's what I'm going to be doing the rest of my life. And whatever that takes hold to end up being, that's what it'll be. Right now I have some hats I'm putting together, you know, hats that I have. This little hat is kind of goofy, but you know what? Let me check myself. It's not. It's kind of something I say to relegate it. It's not goofy. And it's a mental awareness club hat. And so I was wearing it and people were like, oh, it's a cool hat, man. I want that. And I want that. And it's making them feel good. So I said, why can't I make more? You know, and so I'm going to get some of those out, and we're going to see if we can change people's attitude about themselves.
Love it.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
It makes a big difference.
It does.
Just a quick example. One time, and I didn't even realize this at the time, my son was about 12 or 13 years old, and we were at a grocery store, and at the end of the transaction, he's like, Mom, people are always so nice to you. And he goes, and I noticed it when I'm with other people. They're not as nice to them as they are to you. And he goes, and I realized it's because you're so nice to them. Wow. And I was like, I never thought of it. I just thought that that's how life was. I'm like looking at it through rose-colored glasses, and he's like pinpointing why I'm treated good.
Isn't that cool? So you said looking at it through rose-colored glasses, but you made those yourself.
Right,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that is the key. That is the key. And so I think when we're going through struggles in our life, we want to shrink and protect. But that only makes people less likely to connect to us. And like we said, that's the only reason we're here, right? Is to connect and help each other. So really, it feels it feels against the grain, but when you're going through stuff in life, the answer is connection, not isolation. But we don't feel that way at the time, right? The more you connect with people, the more chance you have to, not only for them to help you, right? But for you to feel a sense of self-efficacy in helping them. You know, I kind of look at it like this, and again, no science background, I promise you. But we feel good if we're hungry and we eat a big old pizza, right? We feel good if we're tired and we take a nap. That's because we have to sleep, we have to eat. So I would argue, if we're not supposed to help each other, how come we feel good when we do it?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's sort of just how I've guided myself. And that is, you make your own luck. Luck doesn't exist. The more you connect with people, the more they want to help you.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to tell you, is at some point in my life, I remember people, you know, they say like, well, I just want my kids to be happy. So they do all these things to help their kids to be happy. Buy them the toys they want. Man. Buy them the phone they want. You know, in reality, the best way to make your kid happy is to spend a lot of time with them.
That's absolutely right.
But when your kids are starting to feel depressed, if they're starting to feel like maybe they don't have a purpose, me personally, I feel like the best thing you can do is join a service organization and volunteer. Because as soon as you do that, like what you said, you feel good.
Oh goodness, there's not much more to say on that. You nailed that. Everything I've read backs that up too. And I'm going to tell you, you know, your parents want to make their kids feel good. They buy them this, they buy them that. So I'm going to tell you a bunch of reasons that's right. But I will also tell you, I haven't done a very good job of practicing that with my baby, okay? I'm getting better, okay? When he started, he has this thing I call the big frown, and it's just like over.
Oh, yeah.
Roslyn helps me with
the
that.
The pouty lid and the big eye,
You know, and I've never experienced worry until I've thought about life through my baby's experiences in the future and worry for him and want the best. And this world is so scary, right? But the world was scary to our parents when we were babies too. And the world changes and we can't control that. And a big part of peace and joy is acceptance of things you can't control, right? And so I know I can't control everything around my baby, but I can put the best rudder in him possible, right? And I can teach him to have, how do I say this? Maybe emotional elasticity. So Braden, and I told you, we spent a lot of time talking with each other. He was very reactive. He couldn't control his emotions at all. And I remember this one time he had a big blowout and he was crying and he couldn't. And I just sat him down and I said, your emotions are too big for you right now. You can't control them. And I stole that. And I've got to give my mom credit here, okay? I'm gonna divulge just for a second.
Yeah.
My mom was about her business. She didn't play around when she was raising me. If I did anything wrong, oh God, it was hell on earth, right? And I remember she was playing with my baby and he threw a toy and it hit her. And I was thinking, my mom's gonna kill my baby right now. I know who she is.
Shoot.
And she just looks at him and goes, oh, it's okay. And I thought, where was this mom when you were raising me, right? And so he starts crying and she tells him, this is gold. It's okay to have big feelings. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's okay to have big feelings. And so I took that to Braden. I was like, you got some big feelings right now. They're too big for you right now, but we're gonna practice being bigger than those feelings. Because feelings are important, right?
Oh yeah.
But they're supposed to be visitors, not house guests. We have to experience them and then we have to wish them well. That you can come in, they say the cure for the pain is in the pain. Feel the emotion and then wish it well. You know, so that's what I wanna do a good job of with my children. I'm working on it. I'm not the best right now, but I do feel that, like you said, the best way to get that emotional regulation and that sense of purpose is to help other people. I could not, and there's so many organizations, I'm sure you know way more than I do, there's so many ways you can give your time and have that connection. And I feel like people, they don't realize that it's just more time. I'm just giving time. No, you're not. You're getting so much. You're receiving so much from these people. And I do hope that more people can feel that. And maybe the more you scream that on the mountaintop, the more people will come around.
Yeah, and I think with service organizations, there are so many out there. And really it depends on what you align with. So if you might have grown up without a lot of food on the table. So maybe you align with the food bank because you don't want another child to starve, right? Or maybe you grew up loving puppies and you just want to help the SPCA.
Sure.
You know, whatever it is, there's something for you, and the volunteer stuff is usually the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
It's usually the fun
that's
stuff.
Right.
They do that on purpose, and you build a community. So you get to build your community within, because these are people that align with you now. Because you've joined an organization of people that love the same thing you love.
That's so true. And I heard another thing, I think I read it. You have to be yourself so that the people who are looking for you can find you.
Yeah.
That's one thing the president of my company has done really well recently is he stopped trying to like worry about what people were thinking, and he was unapologetically himself, and all these great people in the community are finding him, and they're able to perform this like Avengers of helping the community, and it's really cool. And I want that for my family, I want that for myself, I want that for people I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because if we're all connected to some sort of community through a web, we start to get rid of, I call the two most dangerous words in the English language are us and them, right? That doesn't exist. We're all different waves on the same ocean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So the more we can do what you're talking about through helping others, hold on, we're all winning, right? The better we are as a community.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In doing so, you're going to find out what you don't want, and you're going to find out who you want to be around, who you don't want to be around.
That's right.
And you'll find your way. Yeah. And so I would say, like, start with anything that you think might fit, and you don't have to stick with it. You can move on to something else if it's not a good fit for you.
It's so true. I think it's Rumi again that says, as you walk the path appears. You know, but you have to take that step. There's this book, and I'm going to butcher it. It's called The Boy, the Horse, the Fox, and the Mole, something like that. And the horse gets scared. He can't see his way through the forest, and he goes, I can't see my way. And the mole goes, do you see your next step? He goes, yeah. He's like, just take that one. I'm doing this challenge where I'm giving books away to people. That would be one for you.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate that. That's so cool.
Whoever the audience is, I just want to let everybody know that where I am now, I wasn't always in this spot. I was in a spot for a long time in my life where I didn't know how I was going to get to this spot. And you feel alone, you feel afraid, you feel desperate. But I just want people to know that the answer is never isolation. It's never self-sabotage. It's always connection. And we can't run away from pain, and we can't chase pleasure. We have to instead look at how we can help each other, like we talked about.
And chase purpose.
And chase purpose, that's right. Because I promise you, no matter how bad it feels right now, there are tomorrows. And I always feel like life's a poker game where you never, if you run out of chips, you get to stay at the table, right? As long as you keep playing, a good hand's bound to come your way.
It's going to come your way. And especially if you put it out there.
That's right.
If you tell people what you want, what do you think happens?
Well, I'll tell you what, absolutely, because they got to know. And, you know, a lot of people, I love that you just said that, a lot of people will spend a lot of time thinking about what they want, but they won't spend a lot of time connecting with people to make it happen. You know, I always think like, the universe wants to give us everything. But it's not Amazon. It's not going to kick down your front door and deliver it. You got to meet it halfway.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everything you ever wanted is on the other end of some hard work. What do they say? The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if someone wants to work with you or Roslyn in their like health journey or like working out or anything like that, is that something you guys are even like, hey, reach out? And
absolutely.
I don't know if you are ready for that part of your.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're never ready until it happens, right? So, we're absolutely ready as far as open to helping anybody who wants to take a step in there. You know, if it's your fitness journey, if it's your nutritional journey, Roslyn's an amazing cook. Like, I get all this credit for my fitness. I just eat what she tells me to eat, and we go work out, you know?
Lots of protein, lots of veggies,
And also open to a self-development journey. Like, that's what I'm big in right now. I have this, I purposely did a New Year's resolution because everybody does them and doesn't follow through. So I wanted to prove to myself that I keep promises to myself. So I did one. I said I was going to read 30 books this year. I'm going to give out 30 books as well. So I have the whole year. I'm like 12 in already.
Wow.
So but if there's somebody out there that's looking to start a self-development journey, it can start in the kitchen, in the gym, but it usually starts with a book and some time alone with yourself. So absolutely they can reach out. We'd love to help somebody win. The best feeling in the world is helping people get up that rough side of the mountain with you.
I love that. Well, before we go, is there anything else you would like to say?
No, I guess, I'm just going to do a plug, and I want you guys to really open your hearts up and get to a point where you're willing to support a great cause like All About Hope. If you've ever had any experience with someone you love or someone you care about in the hospital, a child facing some adversity, and you're wanting to make a difference and help them out, look up All About Hope, contact me, contact my company, Pest Pros Pest Solutions. We can really make a difference for a lot of kids struggling, and that's my hope for you. My hope for you is that you find it in your heart to help us out.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you and your company for everything you guys do for the kids and their families. Honestly, that does touch my heart.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Okay.